Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today I want to talk about a sheriff in Florida that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. His name is Bob Johnson. It's hard not to giggle when I say that, but that's his actual name, Bob Johnson. Who does that to a kid? Well, he said something kind of controversial that got him in a little bit of hot water. He said that he wished more homeowners would shoot and kill burglars. That way it would save the taxpayers money. He wouldn't have to deal with going and catching the bad guy. You wouldn't have to try the bad guy, and then you wouldn't have to pay to incarcerate them. It would just save money overall if the bad guys got killed while they were committing their crime. Well, unsurprisingly, this drew a lot of ire from people. They got upset. They were like, he should step down. No one should give advice like this, especially not a sheriff. It's not legally justified. It's not morally justified, and all of this stuff. Well, I wanted to take some time today to see if he really is completely unjustified in saying this. Is he totally off the mark? Is he maybe have a little bit of a point? Or was he completely right? Well, first off, I want to say there's no way he's completely right. You just don't shoot every burglar or every person that's in your home and you don't know why they're there. Because let's face it, there's lots of examples of when people are going to be in your home and you didn't know they were going to be there and you shouldn't shoot them. They're clearly not presenting any threat to you, and if you shot them, you'd go to jail. If I just shot every person I saw in my house that I didn't know why they were there or who they were, I'd be in jail, and a lot of my son's friends would be dead from when he was in high school. It was not that uncommon that I would come home from work or come home from somewhere, sit down to watch TV, and then some strange, shady-looking teenager, often in a hoodie, would come walking down my stairs, and I'd be like, who the fuck are you? And they'd be like, I'm Zyler's friend, Cody, or whatever. And they all have names like that. Cody, Zach, Preston, they all got weird names. But if I'd have shot them, I'd been in a lot of trouble, even though I didn't know who they were or why they were in my house. So we all have situations where we know we're not going to shoot people. Even if I come home and someone has come into my house unjustly, they're like passed out on my couch, but they're not a threat to me, I can't just shoot them. I would go to jail for that. In a lot of states, you would at least face a lot of civil problems because of that. In fact, there's actual examples of that. So you can't just shoot someone for being in your home. They actually have to be presenting a threat to you. And someone being there for the wrong reasons, or even if they were invited by someone else and you didn't know, those people aren't presenting a threat to you, so you don't just shoot them. That's not a place any of us want to be, and it's not a mindset I think we want to have. All gun owners aren't shoot them all and let God sort them out kind of people. We're reasonable, responsible people. And we can usually tell when someone's a threat and when someone isn't a threat. Like if I was sitting in my living room and some guy opened the door and then went, oh my God, sorry, wrong apartment, in an apartment building full of people, of doors that look the same, I'm not going to pull out my gun and start blasting. I've done that. I walked into someone's house with groceries and started to walk through the living room into the kitchen, put the groceries away, and went, this is not my apartment. And back out. They were laying on the couch. Actually, they were laying on the floor. So glad they didn't shoot me. So, no, you're not going to shoot all burglars like some people are portraying this. Some people are saying, he was just saying shoot everyone that trespasses and you don't know if they're, who they are or what they are, just shoot them. No reason to give them a trial or anything or just, determine who they are. That isn't what he was saying, though. Let's get that right. He wasn't saying just shoot everybody on your property that shouldn't be there. He was talking about home invaders, burglars. You wake up in the middle of the night, you hear glass break, and you go in the living room and there's someone in there, stealing your VCR or whatever. And if you shoot those people, a lot of people are going to say, well, you were unjust in doing so because they were just stealing your property. They didn't want to hurt you. Well, the very fact that they're stealing your property, that is hurting you because you have to replace that. But also, if they're in your home, if they forcibly come into your home, even if they're only there for monetary gain, you still have every right to believe that they're there to harm you. And I do believe that any homeowner who is awoken in the middle of the night or whenever, if you come in from mowing the lawn and some guy's in there trying to pry your gun safe open because he thinks you're out back mowing the lawn and you won't hear him, I think you have every right to think, hey, if that person is willing to come on my property forcefully, destroy my property, steal my property, he's probably willing to hurt me if I catch him. And I don't think I should have to wait until he draws his gun or comes at me with a knife or a crowbar. I don't have to wait for him to stab me or hit me before I react. I have a right to assume that if he's there for the wrong reasons, and a person who would actually go to those extremes is also a physical threat to me. That's mainly what I think he was meaning. He was meaning, when someone is actually a threat and you actually have to shoot them, he would rather they die rather than cost the taxpayers a ton of money, because the people doing that probably aren't the best people. But does that make him right just because we single in on he's really only talking about burglars and home invaders? Does that make him right? Actually, I don't think it does. Now, before I go into why I don't think it does, I want to say your chances of being involved in a home invasion is slim. A burglary, a robbery where you wake up, someone stealing your property, it's very slim. Usually people do that when you're away. They watch your house. They know if you're going on vacation, etc. That's why you don't let people know you're on vacation. So the chances of it happening is pretty slim in itself. Now, the chances of having like a multi-person armed home invasion, that's pretty much non-existent if you're not a drug dealer or a judge who's been putting the wrong people away. If you pay attention to most of these stories, that's usually what it is. It's something like that. It's either revenge or drugs. And there's lots of stories that people see. You still see them on the internet where they extol them as, oh, there's a perfect example of a good gun owner who had a gun and defended himself against 8 guys who pulled up and rushed into his house. And then you're like, yeah, I think that was great. He had an AR and he chased them off and started shooting at them. And then you're like, well, why did he have 50 security cameras? And why did all these guys show up at his front door in the first place? And why did he have an AR ready to go, him and another guy? It's because he was a drug lord. That comes out later, and then people ignore that information. There's another story of a guy who broke into someone's house with a shotgun, and the homeowner wrestled the shotgun away from him. Later turns out the homeowner's name is like Cassius, something like Charles Cash something, and that's not the real name, but his middle, in parentheses was Cash. And I'm like, who calls himself Cash? And then it turned out after they catch the guy, the reason he targeted that home for burglary is because that's who he buys his drugs from. So he knew they had drugs there. So that's what I'm saying. If you stay out of the drug business, not very likely to happen. And if you look at the examples of, the media loves to use to scare you, and tactical trainers and stuff like that, and home security people use to scare you into buying something, it's usually, well, that could have been avoided if I chose not to sell drugs. So your chances of having this happen to you is super slim in this country. This isn't Belize, where everybody has bars on their windows because people break in all the time. This is America. It's pretty safe, especially if you're in a relatively safe area. If you're in a really bad area, might be more likely. But still, overall, not all that big of a risk. I don't want to be accused of being a fearmonger. I wouldn't worry about it if I was you. Just take normal precautions. But that being said, the reason I think he's wrong about saying just shoot and kill them is because that is basically creating a mindset where we don't need due process. Now, of course, if they're an actual threat to you, end that threat. I would not put my family or myself at danger just to give a criminal the benefit of the doubt, period. But I'm going to use a lot of analytical thinking there when I decide what I'm going to do. If I go out to confront someone who I think's in my home unjustly, or someone who's outside trying to break into my house, I'm going to have a plan. And I'm going to give myself every tactical advantage with that plan, to where I hopefully don't have to shoot anybody. Because like I said, I don't want to create a situation where it seems like due process is not part of the game. Because when police start saying, if they're committing a crime, just kill them, especially for crimes that don't rate the death penalty, that kind of takes our legal system out of it. And even though it does have some merit, if someone's a threat to you, you should get the benefit of the doubt in your own home. In your own home, if someone is there for illegal reasons and you decide they're a threat and you shoot them, should be the end of the story. You should get the benefit of the doubt. But there does, like I say, have to be scrutiny of circumstances. You can't just say, I'm sick of my ex-wife, can't stand her. or my ex-husband or whatever, I'm going to give him a call, tell him to come over and say, oh, hey, you left something here when you were here last night. Well, come on over, but hey, my front door is being painted. Come around to the back door and come in. And then when they come in, just shoot them and say, oh, they came in and I shot them. I'm justified. No, there's always going to be scrutiny. But if it's a serious situation, you shoot someone in your home, they have come in illegally, I believe homeowners should get the benefit of the doubt. Definitely. But I don't want to create a system where we say, I don't have to wait for things to go through the courts. If I catch someone stealing my hubcaps, I'm going to shoot them. You know, that's a little much. In this country, you get due process and you get punishment that is commensurate with the crime. You don't just get murdered because you stole hubcaps. And like I said, that whole attitude of shoot them all and let God sort them out is not helping the gun cause any. So I don't promote that at all. But I did want to take a moment here to say, he's right and he's wrong. If someone's in your home and they're a threat to you, end that threat and you should be given the benefit of the doubt unless there are extenuating circumstances like it's your ex-husband and you invited them over or whatever. But you don't just get to shoot people for committing a crime that doesn't warrant the death penalty. You have to actually think they're a danger to you. You can't see 14-year-olds trying to steal your lawnmower and shoot them. That's not reasonable. Now, in some places you'd get away with it if they were stealing your property, but I don't think it's a mindset you should have. I would never shoot anyone over property. Of course, I'm lucky enough to be in a situation where I can replace property. But still, that lawnmower is not worth anywhere near the potential future of those teenagers. I'm not going to end their potential because of an old lawnmower. So I don't agree with what the sheriff said if you just take it in black and white. But like I said, there is some wisdom there that if someone is in your home and they're doing something bad and you shoot them, you shouldn't be the bad guy. But we should be a little more reasonable than just shooting anybody for any reason when they come in our house, even if it's to commit a crime, if they're not a threat to us. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I do appreciate you coming, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again. Recently, a Florida sheriff named never shoot someone unless you feel threatened. I went off the rails already. Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. But I gotta keep licking my lips. The other thing is, God damn it, Caden. And today I want to take a little time to look at. Fuck. Also, there's times like someone just might be in your... God damn it! Fuck! Or is there a little bit of truth to it? Fuck! I wanted to take some time... Fuck! Right in saying this, or whether it was... God damn it! Because who knows... Fuck! Same goddamn fucking spot!